One thing like children my age need to realize is that no matter what, our parents still want the best for us. Nobody's parents wants them to be a failure. So if you're showing them that you want to be this, you want to be an actress, you want to be a model, you want to be in the entertainment industry, you don't only have to tell them that you have to show them how it will benefit, what you can get from it, how like it's going to change your life. You're going to have to convince them. It's not just telling them, it's convincing them also.
When I was in uni, I started to do graphic design work, and I was working for freelance, for clients, for ad agents, and I realized certain loopholes within the system, and I was like, you know what? When I go to film school, I want to go to a film school that is set in an industry that mirrors Nigeria. I don't want to go to somewhere that's so distant that I can't apply the knowledge that I've learned in my own country. So I was like, I'll go to a film school in Africa. And then I found a school in Cape Town that I liked, that had a great curriculum.
I'll be somewhere else in the next 10 years, watching TV with foreigners, and a Nigerian film comes up. And I'm like, that's my country. You know, they're like, what's happening? I'm like, see, watch this film. Say, shut up and watch this film. This is my country that's on the screen. You know, that will make me so happy.
On this episode, I'll talk about myself to give you a bit of context about my filmmaking journey and what I hope to achieve with this podcast. In the future, I'll use this monologue to talk about simple principles that will help you on your filmmaking journey. I'll also talk about big ideas that can help our industry function better, or I might just use it to rant.
Of all the songs in Lionheart, the one that I have gotten messages from Australia, from America, from all around the world for, there's a piece of music when they are entering Kano.
Yeah.
And then there's this Hausa music that plays. I've had people write me from all over the world for that particular piece of music, you know. So the African instruments are unique, and I don't think that somebody else or something else can replace that.
I understand my journey. I understand where I want to be.
Yeah.
And gratefully so, the productions that have come to me are productions that I would willingly want to be on, you get. I would not choose against them. So even if it's a minor role, and I know this is what I'm about to do, or it's a leading role, what I always do is, so if let me give an example. I've played lead and I had to act like a South African lady.
Yeah.
I'm not South African. I'm Nigerian. I'm Lagosian. I'm a Yoruba girl. I don't know the accent, what demeanor is like, how just the personality. There's something that defines every nationality you get. So I don't know that. But I would go on YouTube. I have a notebook where I would listen to maybe South African short skit.
Yeah, like the idea of the creative my friends make was something I'd had for years. Like I've wanted to create something in that sense before too. So the idea and the structure was always there for me. It was just a matter of finding the pieces and the people that came together. So, yeah, and then I came back, and then everybody in Friends Make I kind of knew already, like hence the name. So it was kind of like a very organic collective coming together, and everybody just so happened to be so different in what they did that it just fit the structure.
I'm your host, Selegot. Welcome back to my monologue. On this episode, I'll be talking about industry best practices and why it's important to know them.
When they said, we're going to Africa, I was quite excited. I'm like, oh my God, for the first time, my film is going to my film school. Because I keep saying Africa is my film school. So like for the first time ever, my film is going to my film school. It was quite an exciting moment for me because I was like, oh my God, everything about film that I know, I learned from Africa. And so to have my film premiere at Africa was like a dream come true.
Yeah.
Last year Comic-Con, I realized that despite the fact that Tata is a completely original fictional character, there are people who are legit scared of it. So I had a friend of mine who is also coincidentally the writer now of FTFO, a lot of FTFO series. She dressed up as Tata last year at the comic convention, and a lot of people ran away from her. A lot of people who knew who she was supposed to be ran away from her. There are people legit scared of it right now. So
a few hours into the studio, the Teco Benson comes in and wants to see what I was doing and was blown away with what he saw. And then he made me an offer right there and then. That was my biggest first break into movies, because now I became an in-house editor for such a big director at the time, Teco Benson. You know, he's still a great director, for even now. So that's how I started. But then it took me 10 years of editing and pitching my ideas and pushing and hoping that somebody will give me an opportunity. It took me 10 years of not getting any opportunity to direct until I created the opportunity myself by going ahead to make a short film.
It's really helpful to, open up your space and invite people that are skilled to come and help you achieve your goal.
Everybody's focusing on, let the lighting look this way, let the directing look this way. But the stories, we need deeper stories. We need more meaningful stories. So what I want to do is kind of try to dig up these things. I feel like maybe we overlook certain ways we can get stories. There's so many stories in Nigeria. There's so many stories, true life stories. Like you can just randomly see somebody on the street and ask them, like, how did you get here?
To be candid, my new slogan now is, think distribution before you even think story. That is the truth. You have to figure out where you want to put this production, the story when it comes out, who are your target audience.
Gospel is always about identity. Do you know who you are? Who are we as a people? And I feel like that's something that has continued to plague us and plagued even our stories, because even our stories, for me, I just keep saying identity crisis. Like we don't really know what it is we're trying to say. And when you don't know what you're trying to say, it always stems from a place of not knowing who we are as a person, as an individual, then as a community, as a nation, then as a nation, as a race,
I'd like to state my support for the End SARS and End Police Brutality movement. This is just the beginning in dealing with systemic issues like reforming the police, reforming Nigeria, and reforming Nollywood. One thing that these protests have shown is what can be achieved when we come together to speak with a united voice. We need to fight for a system that looks out for the little man, and I want to encourage everyone to never settle. Make sure you speak your mind and never give up until your goal is achieved. Don't relent, because this is one of the many battles we'll need to win in the next few months. And I want to encourage everyone to keep striving for a better world.
What do you even call a mistake? Let's start with that. And that's one thing about arts, in the sense that we don't have, art doesn't come with this set of rules that if you're going to do it, this is how it must be. People can do this way, and you choose, this is how I want to tell my story.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you don't call that a mistake. So people choose how they want to tell their stories, and when they make those decisions, you can't tell them that they made a mistake. Well, at the end of the day, like I said, at the end of the day, my concern is the audience.
Create solutions for the film industry. Our equipment include camera cranes, sliders, dollies, robotic systems, bespoke lighting systems for music videos, for sets, for television production houses, wireless control systems, gimbals. Basically, robotics for film.
So far, the short film is still making festival rounds, but we've had our first selection at the Abuja International Film Festival, and we've also been nominated for an award, Best Short Film from Nigeria. So our fingers are crossed. It will be a good thing to win. Also, the director of the session is a first-time director, which again, like we've said before, that's the goal of Hive, to give people an opportunity to showcase their talent and have something to show for it.
Something that was important for me was, kind of discovering my voice, discovering my point of view, and how kind of empowering that was. And even with the collective and the work we're doing there, I figured out that, it would serve Nigeria better if we had diverse voices, because movies have a way of normalizing things.
When it comes to the performance itself, it is your job as a director to reassure the actors. It is your job as a director to make sure that you're paying attention to them. Yeah. and you're protecting them as much as possible, as best as possible. And so, like, in that way and in that regard, I would consider myself an actor's director because I'm very, very conscious about that.
Have you figured the type of stories you want to tell as a filmmaker, or you're still kind of exploring?
Oh, I'm exploring, but I kind of have an idea, and I really want to explore intimacy in cinema, because in real life, intimacy is important, and we find ourselves through them, if it's with our parents or our friends or a lover. So thematically, and I'm very interested in intimacy.
Having mentors are good, because you get to be in rooms that you can see the people that have been before you. You get to be in rooms with them, and you get to see how they are doing stuff and watch them and learn from them.
Yeah. So my parting words for this season is we have to challenge ourselves. We have to do things we have never done before. We have to move forward as an industry. Yeah, we talked about how we can make Nollywood better. One thing I have to say is we have to make things better ourselves. We, the filmmakers, nobody else is coming to save us.